CryptoLocker. But this is a new infection. It changes daily. And each time there's a new variant of it, it's like having a brand new virus. And until the protection for the new one is added, you're always at risk. We all have to remember that there is no such thing as a perfect antivirus program. The virus always comes first, and the method of protecting doesn't happen till the guys in the virus lab have figured out what makes this new thing tick, and then actually have the protection for it available for you. Therefore, any one of us at any time can run into a brand new virus, and when that happens, we become infected. Makes no difference whose antivirus program you use. This little program called Crypto Prevent right now is the only thing that will help actually prevent the infection to get to your computer, provided you don't already have it. Yes, ma'am.
Before we move on, if we find that we have, if we're using a VAS and we have what we think might be a new virus, how can we alert a VAS to that?
We'll get to that.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yep.
If you install this, once installed, you need to reboot your system, apply it, test it to make sure that it's taken on your system. It'll let you know that it right now can't get infected by the current versions of CryptoLocker. If something better comes out, you can hit the button that says undo the changes you've made to my computer, and then install whatever has come along that's better than this. But right now, this is one of the only ways to protect you. The other nasty thing about CryptoLocker is it not only infects your computer, it also infects external hard drives, USB sticks. Anything attached to your computer is fair game. So what you need to do from now on is get into the habit that when you make your image backups, that you do it while, number one, you're not online, and number two, once it's completed, unplug your device from your computer before you go back online. If you leave it attached to your computer and you then run into this CryptoLocker, guess what? Your backup is now encrypted and won't do you a bit of good, okay? So get into a new habit. Only attach things to your computer when you need to, and when you're finished with them, unplug them. Very simple. Currently, 85% of all infections come directly through the internet. The other 15% come through your removable media, instant messaging applications, person-to-person file sharing, and your emails. Simple formula for always staying safe. Never insert a CD, DVD, or USB into your computer, and never go on the internet. Very simple. Do that, you won't need an antivirus program or anything else to protect you. But if you go that far, you also don't need a computer. Get a gaming machine, it's more fun. 6 out of every 10 infections come from legitimate websites. Not sites written to infect you, but sites that have become infected, and if you aren't properly protected, they'll pass that infection on to you. Only 1% of the infections come from the adult or porn sites. That's because those sites have other ways of infecting you. Small legitimate sites very often become infected, and once they're infected, they usually stay that way for a long period of time because they don't have the expertise to clean up their sites. The big corporate websites very seldom become infected, but once they're infected, it doesn't take long for them to infect a great number of people. It's impossible by simply looking at a website to tell which one is safe and which one has become infected. It is the job of your antivirus program to check everything on the internet before you're allowed to go there. That way, if a site has become infected, you will wind up getting blocked from going to the site, and therefore that infection doesn't get to you. The next few slides are all legitimate sites, but sites that became infected And if you're not properly protected, you'd wind up with that same infection. I always give the guy that wrote the infection for part of this site some credit. He allowed you to go to the site, pick out a skateboard, pay for it, and come away from here totally clean. Unless you like this particular skateboard. If you picked that one, you would have wound up with an infected computer. So we call him one of the good guys. He at least gave you a chance. 1 out of 4. Not too bad. This is a school site that became infected, and if you went to that site and weren't properly protected, that infection would now be passed on to you. This site shared music and a little bonus, a Trojan. That's Avast, busy doing its job, blocked the Trojan. You wouldn't have gotten any music, but at least you wouldn't wind up with an infection. How many of you in here are using Windows 8 or 8.1? Good, quite a few. For those that are still on XP, pretty soon it'll be time to decide what you're going to install, because XP will not be updated anymore and will be at the mercy of the guys that write malware, okay? If you're ready to change over to Windows 8, and personally I recommend that you use Windows 8 because it's the most secure operating system that Microsoft has put out. It is also much faster than the other ones. It's also more compatible with older programs than the older ones. But right now, to purchase the Pro version, you have to spend $200. You could have gotten it to the end of January for $40, but that's water under the bridge. When you get ready to install Windows 8, there are some nice people out there that are willing to give you, free of charge, a key generator that's supposed to produce a key that you can turn into Microsoft and make it perfectly legal without having to pay for it. What they don't tell you is that the key never works, and what you're actually installing is a key logger. A key logger the producing of a key is nothing, okay? It's a random key generated for a certain length of numbers, and that's it. Key logger logs everything you do on your keyboard. So once you've installed this program and you then go to do some shopping or some banking, guess what? That crook winds up with all of your pertinent information, and you wind up with an empty bank account. If it sounds too good to be true, you know it's exactly that. These are the sites, sites from which you can get key generators, operating systems, programs, all kinds of goodies supposedly for nothing. But almost all of them come with a payload, and the cost of removing the infection is usually more than what you would have had to pay for the actual program. Those are also the only sites where you decide you probably want to get your computer infected, because simply avoiding the site takes that danger away from you. This particular one is one where you wind up on a website and all of a sudden this first thing pops up, looks like an antivirus program, busy doing a scan. A couple of seconds later, the second pop-up tells you have several hundred infections on your computer. It's called scareware. They're trying to scare you into acting on what it said it found, which is a perfectly clean computer, but they say it's been infected, and they want to scare you on clicking the button to clean up that computer. If you use logic instead of fear, you would have realized you already have an antivirus program on your computer. It's done the scan, found nothing, but probably took quite some time to do the scan, and here comes something out of nowhere that you didn't ask for and tells you within seconds you have a totally infected computer. Something's not kosher. Problem is that whether you click here to clean up the infections it said it found, here to cancel it, or there to close it, you've already started the process of downloading the infection, which automatically executes, and your system is infected. If you run into one of these, the first thing you should do is to pull the plug and get off the internet. Pull the plug to the router if you're on a desktop, or if you're on a laptop, hit the little button that kills the Wi-Fi. Once you're off the internet, reboot your system, and it comes back up, clean out all of the temp folders, and then do a full scan to make sure something hasn't already started. These are the top 5 security